Hitting go live now. So no one heard your incredible French accent.
Or your incredible Australian accent.
Well, I didn't even attempt one. Oh my goodness. Welcome back, guys. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Hi, Captain Foley.
Yes.
Ozzy already throws in $2 though.
Oh my god.
We've tractor factor for Trekyards today. We got to. Yeah. We're at tractor factor 1 right now. But if you guys want to make sure that you see everything that we do, tractor factor that up to 11 and make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notify all button.
Yeah, and tractor factor 11 is when we tractor every point in the universe simultaneously. There's a lot of power, but that's what tractor factor 11 does.
Turn this into snakes.
Yes. Like Prometheus snake, with the that thing. It's not great, but the life of a interdimensional snake isn't always the best. Also, I hear from those that tell us from the other plane. Yes, Stuart. Hello. We're almost halfway done through the season now. That time is flying, and we've yet to hear what's coming after it. Bloody CBS can leave us in the dark for 4 weeks. Gah! If only there's some announcement coming soon that will tell us what's next. God damn it, Stuart.
I think you might be lucky. Because this upcoming Wednesday, on the 8th, Star Trek Day. We got panels.
Yes.
And there's going to be lots of things to learn about and hear about.
We hope they're implying heavily. Although last year I recall we were expecting something, we got literally nothing. I remember we were quite they talked about things. It was like tiny hints by Patrick and such, but it was like, because they didn't have anything filmed, there's no lower deck stuff, because during the pandemic, so it was like, well, there's...
Yeah, it was disappointing to say the least.
Yes. But I think this one they're going to blow us away with things. And I'll tell you what, look at this thumbnail I made. This was a hard one to do thumbnails for, because everything's a spoiler, but also so many things that happen that is a hard, even if you spoil one element, you can't spoil the whole thing. So I thought this gave us what's happening without telling us anything about what's happening. It's very tricky with this episode.
Indeed.
And obviously we know what's happening on the other side of that log. So for those that have seen the episode, added fun context.
Yes. David Attenborough to narrate what's going on.
I'm not even going to try. You won't get me to do an accent that easy, Stuart. You know me, I don't do accents.
Yes, anyway, so, do you want to share this around while I talk to these fine folks?
They are very fine folks. So, you need your one-on-one time, Stuart. You do.
I do.
All right.
They couldn't all make it to my live last night.
Oh, okay. See you in a minute.
32 people here, 24 likes, guys. That's awesome. Hit that like button if you haven't already. We do have some stuff to talk about today with this episode. I even found my Starfleet survival guide, which has some information on the Mugato and how to avoid being a bad run-in with them. What happens if you do? How to fend them off. So we might get into that. I don't know. Probably not. But anyway, guys, hit that like button. Don't forget to super chat if you're able to. We really appreciate it. It helps support the channel. Lets us know that you love us, and makes it so we can keep making content for you guys. Excuse me. You can also send us PayPal at trekyards@hotmail.com. All the information for the PayPal is down in the description of every video. So if you do send us one, let us know in the regular chat that you've done. From PayPal and your voice out there, because we do like to read all the comments. And don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel and help us on a monthly basis by clicking that join button down below beside the subscribe button, or by heading over to Patreon/Trekyards, where you can also help us on a monthly basis, which is very greatly appreciated if you're able to. And don't forget, there's also the Teespring and the TeePublic store down there. I'm currently wearing one of our Trekyards shirts, although they made the badge way too big, just part of the design process. So it's a little bit of a shame, but Lots of great stuff down there if you want to check it out. Metallica fan says he just got his excuse me. He said he loved the Trekyards t-shirt that came earlier this week that he ordered. So that is awesome to see. So if you guys want to pick up some Trekyards merch, please consider doing so. Also, a lot of other great stuff. Links in the description, such as Eagle Moss and discount codes for Eagle Moss and such. So lots of ways to help us and support the channel. And just commenting, just liking, sharing the video around, you know, the free ways as well. 41 people here, 33 likes. Pretty great. But we can do better. I want to hit 50 likes. Only 17 more likes to go. I think we can do that easily. So hit that like button if you're one of the 17 people that has not. Or, well, there's only 41 people here, but people have hit like before it started. So, you know, people join in later. They haven't hit like. We can hit 50 easily. 15 more likes to get to that, guys. And then we'll get into this episode, which it's not my favorite episode. Let's put it that way. Not awful by any means, but not anywhere near their best work. Let's just say that. Pumpkin Spice read another comment. It's too short a season from TNG. It was supposed to be Kirk as a fallout from him arming his friends, a private little war. That would have been pretty good. That would have been awesome, actually. So, Samuel's taking an extra long time to share today. I don't know why. Yeah. Kind of agree, Richie. We have a video coming out about that, so stay tuned.
I'm back.
Yay, he's back, everybody. We can all rest easy. The commander has returned.
If only you weren't frozen. If only you weren't, everything would be right as rain.
Oh, well, I'm not frozen on my end. Hold on, let me do this. There we go.
There we go. So, Stuart.
Yes, dear.
Obviously, they should go and watch this review, the episode Ed review, for our concise thoughts. But I've since watched the episode again, so my opinion tends to try and change a little bit between the two viewings because, you know, first viewing, you're wondering what's going to happen and have your own personal expectations. Second time, you know what's going to happen, so you're not hoping for anything, you're just trying to see how it feels the second time around. Very different sort of viewings.
Has your opinion changed at all?
A little bit. A little bit. Tends to a little bit. But as always, Stuart, what are your review thoughts on this episode? Episode 4, season 3.
Probably the worst of the season for me. And not saying that worst of the season means a bad episode. It's still very enjoyable to watch. Some very good moments. But as far as Lower Decks go, it just didn't quite grab me the way that it usually would.
And also, let's be fair. If everything gets an 8 and one gets 7.3, that's the worst of the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a truthful statement, but you got to think in context. Sorry, just like
exactly.
skating there.
That's okay. So yeah, I mean, I think it went a little too far in certain areas, especially with some of the more South Parky-like humor. And I think you guys know what I'm referring to. There's at least two things that I think were a little too far. One was just kind of right at that edge, and then the other thing just kind of was just over that edge a bit. So, but we'll get there when we get there. Other than that, pretty forgettable as an episode. We had an A, B, and C story. The A story being the Mugato stuff, the B story being the Tendi and Dr. Tiana stuff, and then the C story being the Captain Freeman and the alien encounter thing. And none of them really hit home. It's like they didn't spend enough time on the ones that I think would have been better storylines, like the Captain Freeman one. Probably would have been a better storyline in my opinion. But other than that, it's very watchable. It's you know, I won't pass it up in any more other future viewings or anything like that. And it's still, I'd rather watch this than a few episodes of Picard. So yeah. Yeah, I'm just it's just kind of a episode, which is a shame because last week was kind of the same thing for me. I don't know if we've set the bar too high in our minds for Lower Decks, but this one just didn't quite do what it needed to do for me. So, yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah, no, I get it. For me, as obviously said earlier, it's fine. I don't think any of the stories hit what they were trying to do, and there wasn't really any amazing moment this week. There's in all the other ones there's been either almost an amazing moment or about an amazing moment. But this one there isn't really any, and the stories are very simplistic. They're obviously more character focused, but they're not the most interesting stories either. I think season 1 they definitely have more creative. Well, I mean, things again, it's hard to say with everything because you asked for more, as in you/me/Trekyards asked for more A, B, and C plots and more of the crew being used, more of an ensemble. That's what they're giving us. It's not working particularly well. Well, because last season we had a bigger story with a small B plot, mostly Mariner and another person, and the depth of story you get from that clearly helps the show. Here, none of the stories really work so well. They're all good ideas, just not fully realised. And I think it's just lots of small little mishaps, but they use a lot of great canon, as always. Didn't invent anything, didn't have to, which is great. You don't learn anything new about Tendi. You sort of do about the other 3 in the abstract, but it was more of a case of you got to see that the 2 boys were actually friends because they've only ever been before. So that they felt quite genuine. We're classic friend guys. Just friends, which was nice, which was effective, but also not the most entertaining because they're both similar in a way. They're both somewhat ditzy, but also qualified people. So they're not particularly dynamic as a duo. Whereas Tendi is an extreme psychopath, so she brings that crazy energy, and Mariner is a crazy psychopath. So she brings that sort of energy, but we put the 2 medium people, the two calm people. It's like you can't need those crazy elements, which is odd. You wouldn't know until you saw it. But yeah, the humor isn't particularly strong in this. There's a few noteworthy things joke-wise, but at least it ends strong, which is important because the payoff isn't always good. Very Trek end. And it's a hell of an ensemble piece. You really get a sense of the ship and the crew, which is great. Oh, it's tricky shit. So many different conflicting things to think about this one.
Yeah, it definitely had a TNG kind of wrap up to the story, which was nice.
I think it's a TNG feel in general, honestly.
Yeah.
If you made that like Data and Geordi, and then the up in the ship is who would that be? Maybe wouldn't be the Doctor. It'd be Troy. Go a bit obsessive and you can actually see him almost being swappable.
Yeah. People are. I'm sorry, but I literally lost my shit when Shax ate shit.
Well, don't rush to find it because you don't really need that shit, and maybe you dropped it in a park. In a hallway, I mean, as long as it's not in your bed, but then even though you lost it, you'll find it really quickly. So let's hope you lost it in a suitable place.
It's true. Very true.
Wise words from me there.
Well, first time for everything, right?
And today was not that day. So we'll do the scores at the end after this review, but give us in the chat right now a like it, dislike it, or a meh. Don't be specific. We want to wait for the scores later on. I'd love to get a sense right now. Hopefully more people join in, but obviously we know Lower Decks is the least watched of the new shows, which is sad. And maybe this one put people off, maybe, etc., etc. So, it's like we're the same time every week, but if people choose not to tune in, probably a reason for that.
Yeah.
And we're here
Speaking
the whole time.
Of 60 of you here with 48 likes. I asked for 50 likes earlier. We're almost there. If you're one of those people that hasn't hit like yet, please hit that like button. This one actually, I was kind of disappointed in a way because it actually gave fuel to a lot of the hate channels out there. Like they're going to take specific things from this and use it as, they did this in an episode. How ridiculous! This is the worst thing ever. and I hate that they're supplying that fodder for those channels. Because Lower Decks is good.
It's great. I mean, it's been more mediocre this season, but the bar they set was very high. So
yeah. So that kind of annoys me a little bit. That that those hate channels are watching every second of this show just to be able to have their discussions on it. And
yeah, I don't tend to check those anymore for this sort of stuff because I don't really care what they think because
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't check anyone's thoughts until I talk to you. You're the first person I talk to about, so that I have a completely unbiased perspective. And then normally I'm so burned out by editing our episodes about the episode, I don't want to watch the episode or think about the episode until our lives again. So I kind of skip the point where I care enough to watch their stuff, and then I'm just like, I don't want to think about the episode. So I always kind of burn myself out. Like I sometimes watch the Trek Culture's best and worst bits. Sometimes, normally I tend to watch them like after the fact. I think I watched all of the Doctor Who ones for last season, like at the season finale. I was like, oh yeah, they did those videos. Let me check them all out. Oh, that's fun.
To be fair, I haven't been watching a lot of Trek Culture lately. Just haven't felt like it. But
so
I am me. See.
Oh,
I am me. See puts in $5. I am not sure this headbite was worse than the head explosion from Conspiracy. That's true, I guess. Yeah. It just seemed it was so quick. It's like it's just gone. And
I mean, well, that's the thing though. They cut. I think they probably animated the actual destruction bit and edited it down, but they didn't actually show anything. It was just the implication of everything. Whereas in Conspiracy, you saw everything very literally, very full on. So that's certainly worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's just get into it. I guess.
Well, I read out Pill's opinions. The like mares or no's. Like,
what
was the poll? Yeah. What did Pill say?
Like it. Like. Okay. It's okay. Like meh for me. More like yikes. Especially this episode. All right, I guess. Meh to like. Meh. Yeah, meh is kind of the overriding one that I heard even last night.
Well, plenty of likes there and no dislikes. So certainly on that side of the pendulum.
Yeah, that's what I said though. I mean, even a bad episode of Lower Decks is still very rewatchable many times compared to a bad episode.
And it was better on second viewing. This is a second viewing episode, which they aren't always.
Yeah.
Well, briefly before we jump in, and the last thing I promise: Pumpkin Spice, the Nexus from Starter Generations. Bogard should have used it to bring Tasha Yar back for the Tinge movies. Should have kicked up. Should have been so awesome in First Contact. That would have been a fun twist to have Tasha in Generations. Very apt person, actually. It's a great idea. I like it.
Interesting for sure.
Now you can start, Stuart.
We got another like. We got a meh. Well, we got a like meh. Another meh, and then Matt Boardman's meh. Yeah. All right. Well, let's start. It starts off with the Ambujitsu stuff, which is actually pretty fun. Rutherford and Boimler have been secretly training at midnight, so they want to show Mariner up a little bit because she keeps kicking their asses. And the Ambujitsu was good to see again. Cool uniforms, like nice look. Good to see that back. But anyway, they kind of she's got the kid gloves on. She kind of takes it easy on them. They knock out one of her teeth. So I mean, hey, and then she goes, no, now I can actually and then she just literally beats the crap out of them, like to the point of being super abusive. So don't know how I feel about that necessarily. But and the moment for me that really just capped this off was Shaxx being, oh, it's okay, I'm early. You guys still got 10 minutes. They're like, no, help us. It was just hilarious. That was like the first laugh out loud moment for me. So.
Yeah, I think also the second screen cap we have, isn't that Troy's just sexualized pink outfit from TNG? I'm pretty sure it is. Or at least mostly. Or maybe Beverly's, but I can't remember which one was wearing green.
Yeah, it's close.
Definitely a reference to that. And I love, this show's great. They clearly have an actual catalogue of who's on the crew, because you are recognizing people. Like that for Vulcans in every other episode, etc. So it's nice that even though they're animated, they're actually starting to stand out as being, okay, this is part of the crew. But yes, it's a good intro to the intro, and the camaraderie feels good, and the fact that the boys are working together on this is great. The initial fight bit, you can tell it's kind of an accident where he hits and he gets her teeth knocked out. And then she goes into rage mode, and so aggressive she actually destroys their helmets, which, I mean, they are designed for this. It's like saying if you were doing fencing and you went so hard you literally pierced their armor. It's like, well, you're trying to hurt them. There isn't any, you know.
One thing I did miss about the Anbujutsu armor was when you put the visor down, that's down, that it does. That was missing from this, which I would have liked to hear because that was an interesting sound. So,
but this scene I liked better in the middle of the first viewing because I thought it was going to lead into something, but knowing it doesn't, in first viewing and in second viewing knowing what it is, this is a horrible scene that horribly hurts the Mariner character, because this is later on, these are my two best friends and she actively abuses them and beats them up violently, aggressively. She actually stabs Rutherford's hand with half of a broken spike thing, and you hear a sound. She literally beats them mercilessly. What a horrible, abusive person that, you know, massive respect lost. She's violent and aggressive, and there's no justification for this at all. Horrible. I mean, she should be in the brig, but she likes the brig. She should have been, you know, imagine if this was anyone else, or if any other crew character, if, you know, Worf beats up some Bajoran on the holodeck on DS9 and then keeps beating them up after they say, oh, I concede, and then goes to the medic and says, oh, I've literally broken half my frozen body. Worf might put on charges for that. No, it's a horrible scene in first watch and second watch, and the fact that they play off as a, oh, Mariner, you're so quirky in the next scene is horrible. Completely misjudged it as a scene, the writers.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to show that she's proficient, but yeah, you don't have to, like, literally stab things through your friends.
And it would have been funnier if Sharax had come in, saw them, grabbed her arm, held up, said, no, I think your 10 minutes is up. Like, to show that even though she's strong, she's weak compared to him. That would have been a good payoff, but he's letting them, because you assume she's going to beat them for 10 minutes, which is horrible. So, kind of disgusting, actually, as a scene, but whatever.
That's enough, little bear cub.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
some Denobulan, Stuart. Denobulan.
Perfect pre-title sequence. What did you say? Sorry.
Then Denobulans.
Oh, yes, and the Denobulans talking about coffee. We tried human coffee because Raktajino's too strong. No, it's not strong enough. But they get scared by Mugato, and I love the puffer face thing. Actually, looks very much like Lisa Simpson, actually. But yeah, good reference. Having the Denobulans there. We only saw Phlox do that once in the show, I believe. So this is nice to see again. Good callback.
And while they don't have any, they could be any race. They had no real character in the scene. It's just nice, you know, nice and effective. And I would bet to you that pad, the graphic, is based on Denobulan pad, given their attention to detail. I'm not going to go and look because I don't know where I'd find a Denobulan pad in Enterprise, but I know they had one. Although I wish this is an odd cold opening to the show because I guess they just killed it, but there's more than one, and why are they there? And I don't quite know what's going on.
Yeah, it's never answered.
It's a very horrific intro that doesn't necessarily connect, but given the fact that the Denobulans and Tellarites are both on this planet, both unknowing, one came deliberately to find these guys, and one, as in the aliens, and one unknowing. Is it an important planet? I don't know. It's a bit of respect.
It's Freylon 4 is the planet, and they're going to investigate because they've got reported sightings of Mugato, which are not indigenous to the planet. So my assumption is that the Ferengi had already transported them there. So maybe these Denobulans did not expect to run into Mugato at all on this planet. But the other guy, the Tellarites, Steve Irwin guy, he was there specifically for them. So yeah, it is kind of something that's never actually resolved.
And then who tipped off the People Federation that they're there?
I think that's why we saw the scene with the Denobulans. Because I think the Denobulan scientists probably reported to Starfleet, because the next scene is the Cerritos saying, yeah, we're going to this planet now because Mugato had been reported there. So.
But it certainly implied they get killed.
It doesn't imply that at all.
But what would happen? I guess they run away, but I don't know. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. The way hard cuts, it feels like you hear a scream when they're dead. I mean, I guess, but
I never thought they died at all, actually.
yeah, I thought. Well, it was like a gruesome. Cause the whole episode's kind of gruesome in many ways. I assumed it was just another one of those gruesome things. But I like how we've had captain's logs from Freeman. I think all 4 times, and it's a great simple way to have that character have something to do that's meaningful, because it's like you have your own personal inclination and she's clearly annoyed by the mission type, but in a respectful way still. Like, I think the balance for a lot of the other characters are doing quite well, and Strax obviously clearly far more chill. My goodness, you know, his death and resurrection has made him a lot more approachable. But yeah.
Here we find out that the Mugato are poisonous, carnivorous, and have the strength of 10 men.
Just like his ex-girlfriend.
His ex, yeah.
Which I did snigger at the second time because I forgot about that joke. I was like, oh, okay.
I love Freeman being just annoyed that they're pulling animal control ops. There's got to be more important things for them to be doing. So I think she's still bucking for that promotion. It feels like it.
Oh, God, yeah. No, that's her arc, and you can really feel it.
Yeah. But I love the display graphic of the Mugato and the Frylon 4 thing on the screen there. It looks really good. And then we get our mess hall scene, and the very first thing we see is a Kinzinti. Just like in the animated series, they've been referenced a few times in Lower Decks, once in Picard. So now they're there. At least one is a member of Starfleet. And I earlier when I was talking to you about it, I'm like, it would have been funny if there was something pink. Sure enough, the drink is pink, which is the same color as the uniforms and the ship from the animated series, the Slaver weapon, which is just a little behind-the-scenes thing. The guy that was in charge of the art direction for that particular episode was colorblind, and he signed off on pink because he thought it was a different shade of gray. So,
oops.
Yeah.
And gotta hope that he'll be in meaningfully in an episode. Because that's awesome. Now, this is such a TOS looking game. Oh my god, it's so bright. It looks like candy. It looks like, you know, Skittles on a thing. It's I'm so conflicted how I feel about it. It looks so like quirky. I think I like it, but I have no idea what the hell's happening. Which I think makes me like it more. But I wouldn't want to play it.
It visually reminded me of Kataskat. It's got the same kind of shaped board, the pieces, and but yeah, it looks like a future version of Monopoly.
Yeah, that's
the way they describe it, it's very much, yeah.
And I do think, in concept, it's a good concept. Winning isn't the point. Diplomacy is. That's a very, very humanist, futurist game where the game is to play the game, and so I actually quite liked that, and the way they act, I thought was quite good as well. It's not very exciting or anything, but that's not the point. So it works quite well. But yeah, they're a bit beaten up, and then Mariner comes in. They make you flinching, guys? It's like, wow. Misplaced jokes, my god.
Yeah. We do get the name of the game, though.
Oh, yeah.
The game is called Diplomath.
Oh.
It's not Diplomat, Diplomath.
Okay.
Which I didn't hear,
I
guess, but I saw it's in the subtitles here, so.
And isn't it great? Boimler went from hardcore action on the Titan fighting the Paglids to
Diplomath. Squadra Course $2. Yay for the Kinzinti and Starfleet. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Now, the thing that kind of bothers me here, it's a small thing, but there's just the bandages on their faces. It's a cartoon trope when somebody gets injured to have like the X-shaped band-aid and stuff. But it really, in the future, anyway, it's fine.
But they make a deal, and this is great. It's a better scene in the second time watching because you're like, oh, this is exactly what they do later. So it works better as a setup to a payoff. You kind of forget it exists the first time you watch it because it's like so random. So it works better as a whatever. Yeah.
I love the colors on the pad, the TOS colors with the TNG cars look. But yeah, they're both unsatisfied, which means they made a deal. to compromise. So,
but more drinks are needed, and we get the most tropian, wizened old bartender possible, and the very subtle, like, quick line, 2 more, please, and keep it painkillers and mine, please. It's like, oh. Oh. But it's so well acted. I know you quite like this, the trope and the way it was used.
Yeah, but then you got the sketchy, strange bartender guy, and I'm not surprised you don't need drinks after talking to your friend there. And the whole thing about her being, if that's her real name, and is she's a secret agent, Black Ops. I never even considered that it was Mariner telling him this, but yeah. And then he mentions the Atlantis, her other ship where the crew like mysteriously disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you get a little bit of backstory for Mariner there, which is nice. Another ship that she's been on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DS9, the Olympic class, and the Atlantis. So it's already 3 out of 5.
The Quito.
Quito, yes.
Quito was the Olympic one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if this is one of the 5 ships, then she got one more. So yeah, we're narrowing down the list. But I have found this quite.
Well, she said 5 ships. I don't consider DS9 a ship. It's a station.
No,
maybe there are 5 ships and a station.
I don't know if she said station. She might just be. Anyway, yes, I agree, but I don't know if that was her. Because they've retconned her as DS9s. They might not have meant that when she said 5 ships in season 1. So yeah, they might be able to retcon that. But I quite like this bartender. I mean, it even sounds like the trope that you think it should be. But he also seems old and bored. It's just such an odd choice for this. And because
his name is Honus.
Yes.
So his name is Honus.
Because it's not like, for me, I didn't get the sense he liked gossip. Like, it wasn't played with this cheeky smile. It was played with a genuine concern of like, I'm going to tell you all the secret of the ship, rather than, turns away, wink and nod, and that was fun. So it's kind of an odd placement. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and the whole she's a programmed killer, like her protect herself at all costs. And then you see her sitting at the table, and so she got a spotlight on her, literally, shadow behind her and everything, and she's doing the I forget what the name of the game is, but it's an alien with the Klingon dagger, throws it in the air, takes a shot, and plunks down on the table.
It's effective.
So, yeah, very effective. Yeah,
and it fits into her character quite well. We know she likes to kill knives from previous episodes, etc. And it is such a logical thing for the season to go this way, that she was given some special ops training. So there'll be a video about that, guys, on Sunday about this, because we have thoughts, very specific thoughts. But this certainly made the first season feel a lot better, because if she's chosen to go to this chair table by herself, almost stabbing herself, it's like, oh, the reason she's gone crazy in the first scene is because something's happening in her personal life that's going a bit crazy, and then she's kind of the crazy coming over. Unfortunately, that was not the truth, so she was just abusive for the sake of it. But it felt good at the time.
I like the other guy yelling at Honus, "Can you get back to work? Phillips over there is waiting on his peach daiquiri."
Yeah.
Keep your pips on, Phillips.
Well, that's a good, I never heard that before. It's quite a good expression.
Yeah.
And guys, any more super chats? We only had 2 in the last 35 minutes, so it's kind of strange for a review episode. So if you want to put in any thoughts you had, let us know.
Yeah, well, we just literally just started the episode, though, so we're hopefully it'll be going a bit better.
4th of the way in, though, of the live.
Yeah. Then they have the whole discussion of Starfleet would never hide a Black Ops agents on one of their own ships. Yeah, I mean, Starfleet Intelligence does it, and Tuvok did it when he infiltrated the Maquis. And then there was the whole Dominion War. There were a ton during the Dominion War, he says. But on the Cerritos? Nah. Well, so yeah, setting up that mystique of her being a special ops, which actually makes a lot of sense considering a lot of the stuff we've seen from her, so I kind of like that. Lowest Deck is here. He joined me last night for a live. First I'd seen the name, so...
Yeah, hi there.
I binged all of Lower Decks episodes from Season 1, Episode 1 to Season 2, Episode 4 last night.
Wow.
One of my in one go, and I'm very impressed that they keep the continuity of images for the bars, etc. A lot of animation shows don't. Yeah, exactly. They do a great job with that in this show, actually.
Yeah, very good job. And I love the Tuvok reference here. It's super organic and super obvious. Because especially since he's a fan of Voyager, he would know that 100%. He's probably met Tuvok and get a plate. That was actually
yes. Yeah.
It's like, oh, Mr. Tuvok, I'm so proud of you for your espionage. And it's like the realization though, oh, Starfleet would never do this stuff. Oh wait, they do it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's great.
Starfleet would never do it until they do, which is all the time.
And then you get sickbay, which we're seeing a lot of actually this season already. A lot of Dr. Tyler and a lot of Tindy in this situation. It's surprising actually.
Yeah. And one thing I don't like about sickbay is it's very cold.
Yeah.
It's not warm like the Enterprises and TNG. You know, it's very cold place.
Also too big for this. I know it's a cartoon, but it's too big for the scale. Like the entire middle is just wasted. It needs to have like 2 middle bays, 2 middle tables, sickbay beds like on the D. I think that would benefit kind of the middle, especially with a ship this unimportant. It's weird to have such a lot of space.
No, not really. If this ship goes in to clean up after battles and is tractoring ships, it would almost make sense that it'd have a pretty big sickbay just in case there are wounded or survivors or something.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what the ship is. I mean, Mike McMahon confirmed it as such.
Yeah.
So. Snoopy McQueen, though, throws in a $5 super chat. Thank you. With a keep it up and a little pair dancing and doing weights.
I wonder what you should repair.
I don't know. I like pairs. I mean, fuck pairs.
But Metallica fan says, have they ever explained why the Trios crew have different uniforms compared to the rest of the fleet, i.e. Titan, Tom Paris? Yes, and in fact, I was the one to ask the question live at Star Trek Las Vegas last year or last time, where I said to Mike...
2019.
Thank you. I said to Mike, on stage, in a panel, as the third question of the panel, I asked him why, and he said to me, point blank, looking me in the face while I was on the microphone, not everyone in Starfleet has the same uniform, because different specialist groups have different uniforms, and these guys are the lower tier of sort of utilitarian guys, and so they have different uniforms. Whereas the main ones are for the normal people, the normal Starfleet uniforms, and obviously we've only ever seen like high-ranking officers and high-ranking ships in the relative spectrum of thing to middle end, and so we see the standard uniforms, whereas we rarely see like the cleanup crews and the tug people and those uniforms. So simple as that. But we've seen both uniforms, and that's okay. It's a fine reason, and I can see these being this uniform since even TNG, because it's a TNG hybrid, like a TNG variant. So why update the low-ranking ones when trying to update the new ones? So there you go, easy peasy.
Yeah. But we get this lady who jumps in on Tendy's patient, and we assume that this is the lady that she got promoted above her from the last episode.
And let's be fair, this is Tendy's gen. You know, it's going to be our arch enemy, this unnamed person, because she has a little bit of snark to her. And that pip, that for me, because the black pips stand out more, that pip is just saying, look at me. I know I'm looking for it, but it's like, yeah, promotion. So it's quite funny.
No, I totally agree with that. But yeah, so you see Tendy kind of back up a bit, be unsure what she should do here. But then Tiana basically asked her for some help. Needs her to get everybody's physical done, which just includes scanning them for their DNA, I guess. But it's basically, I needed somebody that's lowest on the totem pole. So poor Tendy. Hold on, my computer just did a thing. There we go. Anyway, we got a pad full of names of people that need their. There's a Lieutenant Commander Steve Stevens. I love that Stevens' first name is Steve.
Dear me.
Ensign Jet Manhaver, Lars Lundy. And later in the episode, she actually scrolls through it. So there's more on top there that we don't see here. So.
And it's fun. There's 2 chiefs as well. So there's unlisted people too.
Yeah.
So there would be.
Yeah.
Because most people are going to be ensigns on the ship or enlisted. Because you can't have that many people high in the chain of command. Because for lieutenant, you rank over ensigns. If everyone's lieutenant, no one has a chain of command. So it's yeah.
Ryan Howe puts in $5.
Thanks,
They should have cast Will Ferrell for this episode. It was an Easter egg missed opportunity. I would cast Ferrell for the con man or the pervy Mugato. Good God.
Any particular reason for that? It seems like quite a random but specific for you question.
I love this here too, where Tendy's like, "Why the scan's non-evasive?" And some freaks just don't like being reduced to a set of readings. Hunt them down and scan their asses. So
we're back in their home junkyard with the, since damaged even further Sequoia. It's back on the block. Bit of character beats, and clearly this is the their episode, so you get a nice little bro vibe. And you get a great little Enter Mariner Atlantis thing with a whole different hairstyle, which is the trick I did for Keely, the different shorts, to give her different hair and different points of her life. This is not a haircut when we saw her on the Kido. I think she was a lieutenant in that, so she has a varying thing. I like seeing the old uniform, as it should be.
One thing I do want to point out, though, is the different pronunciations of the Mugato thing, because that's been a thing over the years. There's actually a different name. I found this out last night. There's actually a different name in the original script, Private Little War, but McCoy couldn't say it properly, so they just changed it to Mugato because that's all he could say. So, interesting fact. So it's just been a trope that people say it differently, and people say it differently throughout the course of this episode. Shaq says it differently on the transporter pad. The one guy on the planet says it differently. So I mean, it's kind of funny.
It's a joke within a joke within a joke.
Yeah. I wish we could actually read her record there. I wish it wasn't just. Maybe you could AI enhance that. Just
kidding. AI, make up all the words.
Yes. But they're talking about here. You believe the bartender? Well, I mean, she's been on multiple ships, but she keeps saying she gets demoted. I know that's what she says, but and then talk about the Atlantis and the crew disappearing, and
which is true though. So, they've taken a word for it, and the demoted story does seem a little bit unlikely if you break it down. So, who's to say, Stuart? Who is to say?
Well, Boimler decides to whip a tricorder at her when she comes in, and she catches it. And she's like, "Whoa, did you guys see that?" Which, under the circumstances, isn't a good thing that she caught it, I guess. So
it's a surprisingly effective little scene that builds upon itself. But when you know it's how it is, I really appreciate her joke of, we have to do this now or else. Or else what? Well, I don't know, they'll hurt us. You guys are weird.
Yeah.
Because it's a stupid question, but not in the context. It's quite effective.
Jay Donaldson, they should have had someone call a Mugato a Moogie in front of the Ferengi. That would have been great, actually. Moogie.
Yes. But they get to the planet and they beam them down. I was kind of surprised Trax is the leader of the group, since he was dead. But okay, he's getting a lot of screen time for a dead man, and definitely devalues his death in season 1. But yes, every single time he says the alien's creature's name, it's a different name. It's daft. It's good. I like it though, but it's daft.
And no weapons, because these guys are endangered. That's why they don't have any weapons. And he says, and their genitals are sensitive to phaser fire.
Aren't everyone's?
I mean, I've never tried, but I would assume so.
And you've got enough phasers, so And then we get the dawn scene, Stuart.
Yeah, when he beams down, when he says the...
Yes, and I will say again, I think they've definitely changed how... They changed the Strax character quite a lot, which will be part of the story, I'm sure.
Anyway, I'm back now. Sorry about that.
Yes, okay.
All good. Yeah, I didn't even realize it. When he said it on the transporter pad, and then as soon as he beams down, he says it again. It says Gumato.
Every single time he mentions it's a different name. It's a joke within a joke within a joke. But the thing is, if they are able to be called like 7 names legitimately, then I guess it doesn't matter which one you call them. It's so blatant. But yes, talk about the poop, Stuart. Talk about the poop.
The Mugato dung. Fresh, tangy, this way. It's like, okay. I mean, trackers do that. They feel how warm it is, but tasting it sometimes to see what the diet is, I guess. But just it's like a little.
Maybe skip
multiple
breakfast.
Times.
Maybe skip breakfast. This was. I did like though Marina's reaction, because this is one big credit I'll give. She feels much powered down this week, except the first scene. But if you're fighting non-fighters, any medium level fighter is powerful enough. And so she's genuinely like, oh my gosh, disgusting. I don't like what you're doing. It's not for me. I'm not in control right now. So she feels on par with everyone else. So I like that a lot. I don't think Strikes were done in the first season either. He seems out of character, which is good. Like, I think he's definitely changed. But yeah, gross, weird, moving on. Ugh.
Well, one of the funniest things here, though, is he's all stealth-like down on the ground doing his thing. And everybody else is just walking behind him like, do.
And the music changes to an epic beat thing. And they did the same joke with the strike team last week, or 2 weeks ago. And everything is gone. What the hell? What is going on here?
Don't know.
Oh,
is it back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. And I love how he finds another pile of dung, and Mariner's like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure we're going in the right direction. You don't have to."
Oh. Yes.
Yeah. He just likes it, I guess. I think he likes tangy things.
Yeah. So they find a quite radical site. We kind of knew it was going to happen vaguely for this episode. I can't do the Ferengi. I can sense that'd be the plot. But yeah, whole Ferengi thing with a dude buying stuff. And the guy's like, Ferengi. And then we get the cutest shot of a baby for a second. And then he goes...
taken away from its mom.
He goes feral. And actually, yes, they are lost outposting it. But this is where the whips make sense. They made the whips make sense, Stuart. Dear me.
Yeah. I love how the one guy asks about, are they horns or tusks? They're whatever you want them to be. So that's good. But yeah, Mariner's not happy that they're harvesting the animals. And rightfully so. There is a dampening field, so they can't contact the Cerritos. Even though right before they left the Cerritos, they said there's a storm incoming, so you've only got a certain amount of time, and then we'll lose communication anyway. So one was redundant. They didn't need both.
Well, not just that, but they have a very sly joke. They say you've only got 22 minutes, which is the length of the episode.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
Obviously not at that point, but it's just, I think that's just a funny little dig at, we've got time limits. Yeah, you're right. They're already in danger enough. Like, the planet was already whatevered. Now, this is why...
Shax makes the comment, our backs are against the wall, which is what the bartender said when Mariner's back's against the wall, that when he goes into psycho killer mode. So. And
they don't look happy, and she looks thrilled. I don't appreciate, though, the let's try having a plan. There's no plan here. You wonder why they fail. At least Strax goes straight to negotiation first. Well, he beats a guy up first, but then negotiate. Like, there is this, like, again, he's a better security officer than he could be, but there's no plan here, and they're probably outnumbered. They have no weapons. They don't have the home field advantage. So I wish he was smarter. But, he died, so I can't be that mad with him. He's a get out of death free card.
But the one alien guy that's buying the horns is like, hey, I'm in danger. These guys are, help me. It's like, no, that doesn't work like that. And then he asks if they have a permit to be doing this. To which case the Ferengi goes to like use the whip on him and hits the security grid thing, so it short circuits and all the doors open. So all the Mugato escape and it becomes chaos. The fish-headed alien dude, he hops in his shuttle and takes off. It's an interesting enough looking shuttle. I love the very the colorful warp nacelle grills. Kind of an odd choice actually, but it looks cool.
Yeah, I like it because it feels to me like a Colonial Viper. Like, clearly inspired. How would you make a shuttle version of that? There's too many similar elements to be a coincidence to me. So I like it's a new design. And, the scene where they come out, it's quite vicious. I know there's at least on the version I watched, there was a sex and violence warning at the start, and there's a lot of sex and violence in this episode, so it kind of stood out. But I do like the fact that these, to me, the cage net pillar force fields, whatever, they're Tholian, looks like to me, because Tholians are known for their webs, which, you know, known to keep ships in and whatever. They're bright yellow and they're webby. This is a bright yellow webby force field. To me, it's a no-brainer. They you know, bought Tholian tech and they almost catch that. I think it's a rather nice little note.
Yeah, I didn't notice it till you said it, but you're absolutely right. It does look like that. So.
Oh, and also, what's it called? Ferengi blood is bright orange as well, because one gets stabbed as well, and orange blood spatter. It's a bit, well, it's very vicious.
Yeah.
Dear me.
So we got a color of Tellarite blood and Ferengi blood in this episode.
And then Bajoran blood too, I guess, because Mariner stabs him right in the chest.
Yeah,
Ouch.
which is supposed to be more like cutting around the wound and then sucking out the blood.
Yeah.
But, which we don't know that yet. When I saw that, I was like, what the hell is happening? I thought one of the other ones maybe got bitten and were hallucinating or something, because this just seems ridiculous, beyond ridiculous. But, and it is, somebody asked last night, is it getting, hit with the horn or the spikes on the back and the tail that are venomous? It's actually just the bite. So we looked it up in the Starfleet medical reference. Anyway.
Yeah, I assumed she was, taking out the venom. I remember hearing that before, so it wasn't a huge, hell of a stab. But I mean, she's not known for being careful, and he's a tough guy. He only died once. Although briefly, the Onion says Tholian webs are usually triangle, though, aren't they? The space ones are.
Yeah.
This is a ground-based one, so. Yeah.
And not even all the space ones. I mean, if you go play Starfleet battles, there's globular ones. There's different kinds of shapes and styles that they use. We've actually talked about it in some of our Tholian episodes that we've done on the channel. So there are different styles of Tholian webs.
Yeah,
so.
They wouldn't need to be the same. It's kind of good they're not. But yeah, the team and boy, the rain, the lightning, and like it's very effective at like a horror vibe, at a gruesome vibe. They do a very effective job. But considering what's happening here, it's a weird set of events because the two boys run. She runs after them with a knife raised, which doesn't have any context as to why. And she doesn't shout to them. She doesn't like it. It's. I think they push the we need to pretend she's a horrible creature more than would make any sense. Like, it would have been great if she she's running out with a knife and then stabs a Ferengi or a whatever, like jumps on them, they're behind a thing. Like, they could have saved it, but I think they go too hard at making us believe. But for not 1 second do you think she's this really not you think she's really a killer in this context. So it's kind of a bit of a waste of time, I think. For this moment anyway.
Yeah, it would have made sense if, after they took off, she threw the knife at a Mugato that was coming after them or something.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if we find that out at the end of the episode too, like they're like, "Why are we running at us with a knife with a blood crazed look on your face?" Then she flashes back to what happened. So
that would have been useful. Yeah.
But then the Cerritos is detecting an unknown ship leaving orbit, and so they hail them. Leave me alone. I don't have any horns. Hey, we just want to know if you saw our away team. Not interested. Don't hail me again.
Which he's perfectly in his right to do. Have they got a warrant? This is Federation space, but they're not, do they have a right to search his vessel? Probably not. Or is every ship in every part of the quadrant that is Federation space they have the right to? That seems illegal. So, yeah.
But they asked to put a tractor beam on the ship, and they do. And the ship just falls apart. So they beam him out onto the bridge, and he freaks out because his ship blows up. My ship! And then we get... I said the tractor beam. It was, Captain, at the lowest tractor factor. Loved it. Another laugh out loud moment for me, because I'm like, that's good. We're going to be hearing that from now on till the end of time.
I thought it was a pleasant cringe.
Yeah.
Now, I just thought this was quite a fun little role reversal, because this would happen. Not to that extent, but that's the gimmick. But, some ships aren't designed for this. Some ships are so old they just can't take it. And I'm sure a tractor beam is, from a capital ship, is quite strong. What if they didn't have... Because they wouldn't expect a tractor beam, so the shields might not have even been up. What if they beamed? They weren't. So, yeah. Actually, I really, really like how the guy's crying. Actually, he does a good job acting, I think. and the look on her face and look at the everyone at the captain, she's legitimately, oh shit,
I'm not getting that promotion.
Well, yes, but I like the real sense of responsibility here. In season 1, she would have played it off in some arrogant way or some stupid way, but this is a very grounded moment where, for any other situation, if this was real, it'd be like, you could have just destroyed this guy's. I mean, this guy could have had his kid on there, could have had his family heirlooms, could have had whatever, and then destroyed the wreckage. Like, this could have been a big moment. What if it was a diplomat? What if it was whatever? Like, this could have been huge. Everyone's like, ooh. She's like, ooh. I think that was a really nice, gave it a weight to it. And to hear it was a trick was even greater down the line. So that a lot of great ideas, but not all fully executed properly, I think.
Yeah. Back on the planet, though, they're deciding what they should do. They're trying to get away from the dampening field so they can contact the ship. And also they run into Mugato with either, it looks like a broken off horn, not necessarily harvested horn, but anyway, and it chases them.
And Dan says, in TOS the Enterprise used a tracked beam on an American fighter plane and broke it up. Yeah?
Yes. In tomorrow's yesterday, they tracked their beam in F-104 Starfighter, which is the name of the jet. And it just can't handle it because it wasn't designed for that kind of stress. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, nice callback. And then you get a rather long and drawn out scene of them running away from Mugato's, which it does just feel like an ape. There's not really depth to them, which is fine in concept, but it's not particularly interesting. At least it's a real alien race to get behind, so it gets points. If this was just a purple ape, I would ignore it as soon as it's finished. At least it adds something to the lore, but it's not particularly interesting as a scene. Luckily, you get everyone's favourite Australian Tellarian guy. Now, he does say he's got he's a botanist or something, doesn't he? So he is a formal botanist.
He says, yeah, I'm Patingi, the renowned biologist.
Oh, Patingi. I love the pause on that. Like, oh, Patingi.
Like, you should know who I am.
I'm Captain Picard.
And he says I have 5 books on Mugato. For real? You can help get us out of here? Of course.
And he could be a biologist and not know about this one race and just be an enthusiast. But I thought this was a really fun turn. It's absurdly random, but this could have been a great payoff. It isn't, but it could have been.
And the subtitle here says, I've been studying these beautiful Mugatos for years. Like, he even says it differently.
Yep.
Goddamn.
But I think it's great, and as a Tellarite, like, it's so breaking the mold, and to be Australian. Honestly, guys, what's worse in the jokiness? Is it worse to be an Irish Romulan or an Australian Tellarite? Which is worse? Stuart, what do you think is a bit more silly?
They're both equally silly.
It's
Probably
great,
the Tellarite thing.
But he's fun, though. He wins points just being fun.
Yeah, he's obviously like a Steve Irwin kind of analog that they're going for here, so...
I want to mention someone Patingi, because that's just a great name. Oh, Patingi! Yes, but guys... Oh, no, seriously. Stuart, give us a super chat and a like goal. We're now halfway through. Give us some goals, Stuart, while I put the aircon on because I'm really warm.
We got 95 viewers with 90 likes. I want to get to 115 likes. Easily doable. Super chats have been super light, but that does happen sometimes, so not too concerned about it. But if you're able to, please consider super chatting. Your thoughts, your feelings, keep in mind in mind your score for this episode, because at the end we would like you to super chat your scores so that we can kind of do that. And don't forget about the last super chat slot at some point. So be ready if you want that dubious honor. But yeah, I think honestly, at this point, we need another $80 in super chats. It's a little bit much, but if you guys, every little bit helps. $5 here and there definitely adds up. So, but yeah. Eric says, yes, that for Germany, the F-104 was a lawn dart. Yeah, the F-104 is not an attractive looking plane. All right, so we're back on the ship. Tendi is scrolling through her.
Oh my god, yeah,
looking
the
at
Tendi subplot. Boy, I already forgot that happened, and we're doing a review on it. Wow, they've
right.
hard cuts between really radically different stories. That's so weird. I literally forgot. Sorry. Continue.
That's okay. That's okay. So she's got a few checked off in blue. She's got a few more to do. Next is Lieutenant Commander Stevens, Steve Stevens, and he's like, "Oh, I'm busy right now. I'll get to it later." She follows him in though, and then we cut back to the planet. But before we talk about the planet, Eric Martin throws in $20 Canadian. So thank you very much, Eric. Save the Mugatos. Yes, we should have done that from the beginning. Every donation will double it and donate it to the Mugato Federation.
Well, I mean, for only $5 a month, the Mugato Fund, we can buy each of them something. God, what'd you get a Mugutu? Or do you get a Mugunton for Christmas?
Depends on the Mugato, I guess, because some of them like to watch. So maybe TV, some DVDs.
Oh no! Oh, maybe some pajamas for the baby. What would you dress a Muguntup? I'm gonna keep changing the name. What would you dress a Muguntum baby up as?
An ape.
No.
Best way to do that. Best way to do that is file off its horns.
Oh no! Now you're as
no.
bad as a Ferengi. No, I feel like maybe like a human, like pink suit. Because then why wouldn't aliens dress up like humans in a creepy like? Why do we dress up like apes? You know, you give it some black hair and like make the horn a hat.
Every dollar you donate to be a super chat, we'll make sure that Mugato is taken care of for 5 years. There you go.
Yep, and we'll only feed them the best Tellarites around. No.
Only the Australian brand.
They're a rare breed, but.
Metallica fan 1442 puts in £5. Thanks for the live chat. Thank you very much, Metallica fan. Metallica fan also said earlier in the chat, right as we started, that he just received his Trekyards shirt earlier in the week. So he's super happy. So thank you for getting the merchandise. We really appreciate it. Also, let us know which Trekyards shirt. Just Trekyards with the pinup, another pinup. Which Trekyards shirt did you get? Let us know.
And not to pimp out another thing, but Trek Movie posts on their Twitter that their TeePublic store is on a 35% discount, and they had, I think fans added to it, but it had like 12 pages of items, and there are often deals on the website, which is fantastic because the products are high quality. And I actually bought myself 3 shirts from TeePublic from another Trek website because I really like the designs. So I have some new Trek shirts coming.
And yeah, guys, even if you're not interested in Trekyard shirts, if you click the affiliate link down below to get to the TeePublic store, any shirts you buy, no matter where from the site, we actually get some of the profit from that as well, because you used our affiliate link.
Yeah.
So if you want to just search for everything, they got everything. You can look up. There's some really great Ghostbuster shirts and stuff.
Although, because I know licensing is always a problem, I looked for Alien, Predator, some famous stuff, and they didn't have the things I would necessarily want. So it's not the biggest site. So I definitely want.
They also have stuff you never expected.
Yes.
There's some really cool stuff that comes up that I never would think to look for. So
I've said it before. I'm definitely excited to invent some new designs for our, because it's unusual to be able to design a shirt, have it in a store, be able to print that shirt design out, and have it. It's like what? Well, I just have to have time, and then wait for a sale day and order some shirts for my own store to get to myself. But discounts are good. If you can save 35% that's a healthy discount.
Yeah, there's a few sales coming up in September, so there's 35% off. I think this weekend is one because it's a long weekend.
Yeah.
So.
And if I get affiliate link at my own store by buying my own merchandise with my own money, it's all one big system which I then get from TeePublic. Dear me.
Yeah. Metallica fan says it was just the Trekyard shirt. He's thinking of ordering the pinup one on payday. So there you go. Ryan though puts in $5.
Thank you.
Do you think the Tendi plot is some kind of commentary on current vaccine controversies? I never thought about that till just now when you said it. I mean maybe, but I never considered that. So if it is,
wow.
I mean, it's not subtle. It's very obvious, but at the same time, it was subtle enough that I never even considered that. So maybe.
I mean, but it's not a direct parallel. I guess it couldn't be. But also this.
Well, even when she said earlier, it's, some people are weird about, I don't know.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, this was made during the pandemic, but when this was made, there wasn't a vaccine yet. And I remember at the start they said it'll be at least a year, and it was like 5 months. So this would have been made right at the start. Now, arguably, they could have retroactively changed the Tendi subplot, and this because this plot could have been anywhere in any episode. That I can't imagine. I didn't get that, and I didn't think, oh, I want to be vaccinated more. I just got that, I mean, it did feel a bit odd though that the officers, while they said no, they had no rights to say no because they could steal their data. But because they're in Starfleet, they don't have those rights. They presumably sign them away. It's kind of weird. I don't know which side to be on. Because is it okay to subterfugely get the data, but also it's a ship, we haven't got those rights? But shouldn't you have those rights? It's a military organization-ish.
Yeah. Matt Boardman says, I just thought, I always thought it was just a gaffe on how doctors are always having to remind people for their physicals. Yeah, it's also, and later when we find out that the fact that Dr. Tien is also on the list is
a payoff.
Doctors are the worst patients.
That was what I liked.
She's like, I'm the doctor. I would know if I'm sick. She says that herself. And then she also is a cat. So, and taking a cat to a vet is a horrific experience if you've ever done so. So it's there's a lot going on there. So.
Yeah, no, I think that's a better parallel. I think it's just a good usage of that. Although it isn't a very good Tendi storyline, let's be honest. It doesn't really add anything.
No.
And I wish, all back to those scenes, while we do see a bit of the ship, I wish we saw more of the ship, different locations, rather than the same couple. Because then you could have an excuse to see more of the ship. But these are small things, but they would have added to the quality, rather than just been there.
Yeah. Anyway, we're back with Patingi on the planet, and Boimler's like, so you're going to add us in your next book? He's like, no, I don't write, mate. I've read 5 books on Mugus. And then he says Mugus this time. God damn. But yeah, he figures he knows enough to walk amongst them. So he's making the sound as they're walking, and then literally gets his head bit off by one. So, I mean, that was at that point where it's like, okay, that's right where the humor that should be. Like, that's just pushing it just to the right to that line, but it was still in the line. Metallica fans that just ordered Trekyards Com Badge and Trekyards Classic pin-up as they're showing on sale at $13 each. Yeah, there's the 35% off sale right now. So thank you. Those are, well, one of them is a great shirt. I'm wearing the Com Badge shirt right now, and I'm not super pleased with it. But see, looks like I'm an imposter from Voyager with a super big badge.
I mean,
I expected it to be smaller when I designed them, and I don't know why it's so big, but oh well.
I mean, let's be fair, you didn't necessarily customize the shirts perfectly the first time for this site because you were testing. And that's fine. Next side, next batch. But it's really hard to know what's the perfect size. Yeah.
So anyway,
he gets killed.
He dies.
It's so out of the blue and so weird, and it doesn't service the plot. And it's like, why do you add him for a meaningless scene? It's really strange.
Well, to show the danger of the Mugatos, considering what they did to him, and also to just have a little bit of brevity with the whole Steve Irwin Australian thing. So there's a few reasons that he was added.
But none of them really worked. Not really.
Yeah.
Then we hard cut back to apparently old man Stevens. Although note, and we've said this previously, they called him Lieutenant Stevens even though he's Lieutenant Commander. But where do you default the rank to if you've got a half a rank? And I always find that quite interesting because the commander is a commander. That's an important distinction. So you always simplify it.
And Turd Ferguson says, Trekyards, am I banned from the super chat? It says message not sent, edit, and resend. No, you're not.
I don't think you can even do that.
We can't do that. You can either comment or you can't.
Yeah, and you're clearly here.
So,
refresh your browser.
Yeah. Oh, it's happened to me before too, where I didn't hit I had too many characters. If you type the message too long and you don't notice that you've gone over it won't let you send it. It'll say edit and resend. So that's probably why you probably put too much in for what you were. Because you got a certain character limit per super chat amount. So. Yeah. All right. So anyway, they fall down a cliff. Now we're back on the ship again, and Stevens is hitting on a chick, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm really good friends with Ransom. I spot him sometimes in the gym. We're really good pals." And then Tendi scans his glass. "Thank you for the DNA. Ooh, says you should be drinking more milk because your bones are so weak."
It's real weird.
It is.
It does work most. I just wish it wasn't so curmudgeon, because he's never come across as old, given his enthusiasm for Ransom. So it's weird to throw the he's an old man card. And she's not stealthy at all. I would have preferred a more funny approach. Maybe like coming down from the ceiling. You know, like they could have been some like his bald patch is reflecting, and then she sees herself in the bald patch, and you could have made it more funny. But you know, I guess I appreciate that none of them pop a fight when they're scanned without their permission. It's like, moving on. You know.
Well, they shouldn't have to give permission. They're in Starfleet. It's part of the regulations. You need a physical every year. I mean, even the captain can't get around that. We saw that in TOS and stuff as well. So, yeah, you can put it off, but you shouldn't be refusing it outright. You know what I mean? So
I don't think they've refused any of them. They just haven't come in for it yet. They're avoiding the day to come in. But if all it takes is a hand scanner, that sort of defeats the purpose of a physical. Surely, if it's that effective, why come into sickbay? But it's a gag rather than real concept.
Yeah, exactly. Back on the planet, though. God damn. So they run into another pair of Mugato, and turns out the Mugato wanted to mate. So they're stuck in this log. The Mugato kind of moved the log around a bit.
And briefly though, I like the first half of this scene because they clearly come to attack, and it's really subtle. But the male Mugato like smells the log, and then turns his head and smells her, and then nuzzles her for a second. So he instantly gets conflicted feelings and goes towards a different path. I like it's in there. Like it's not just random. It's like, actually this is more interesting. So it's very subtle, but it's there.
Anyway, they start mating, and another one shows up, and they go, "Oh my God, this could get bad if he wants to assert dominance." And they both look terrifying, honestly. And the one sits down and just does the keep going, and then the horn stroke was a bit much.
Which also means that those that bought the horns in the first scene, is this a penis?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had this discussion last night on my live talking about whether that's the reproductive organ. No, it's not. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's for foreplay. I don't know. Anyway, who cares? It's just silly and too far.
It's 2 steps too far. The visible doggy style is already like half a step too far.
I also love when he starts stroking the horn though. His eyes go like each direction. It's like, oh.
Well, I mean, they're obviously special for some reason if they're being cut off and selling them. So I know we know like rhino horns used to be sanded down as aphrodisiacs.
Aphrodisiacs, yeah.
So it's just sci-fi aphrodisiac.
That's the implication here for sure. So Sean O'Sullivan though throws in €2. Thank you very much, Sean. Sean is one of our awesome moderators, by the way, on the Facebook page. He shares our posts whenever we do new videos.
So
thank you, Sean. Yeah, super great. He does some really good write-ups for them too. So, and he watches them all because he has to, because that's part of the write-up. Anyway, 2 poor to tip, 3 fitty. Damn Loch Ness monster. So confused by that whole super chat, but
yes, another hard cut back to the top. I quite like the use of the medical thing, and then we get a slight homage here of come between things. I'm kind of annoyed that we did get dialogue lines from either of the two two characters, because this Darmok guy's meant to be part of the crew, and him being there is great, but not being there is not great. I wish they had some sort of fun banter. I mean, especially if it's a sparring thing. Jack will be like, so this and this, and he's like, in the waves of Dementris, you'll be da-da-da. And the guy's like, are you saying you'll whip my ass? I am indeed. Like, that could have been a whole good joke. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Ryan says, has anyone seen the Human Horn episode from Futurama? Yes, everyone should have seen the Human Horn episode.
Oh god, I watched it when I was so much younger, and it's so much worse now.
Yeah. And Turd Ferguson again says, Trekyards, it's saying it on my PC too. Yeah. Check your message length, because depending on how much you're super chatting, you can only use a certain number of characters, and it's very subtle, even on the. Well, I've only done it on the mobile, but I didn't even realize that I was over my character.
Weird.
Taylor T though throws in $5 and says, was rubbing the horn that different from the Ferengi Umox?
Good.
Yeah, it was. Umox is quite subtle, but this is just, I don't know. But it's different.
Conceptually though, it's the same. It's not their primary sex organ.
Yep.
But one equates directly to a body part. The other is a sci-fi thing. That's a really good point though.
Well, and it's basically not even. Well, it's foreplay. Like,
yeah.
People like the touching of the ears or whatever, but it's just yeah.
No, men haven't really got foreplay parts, but women certainly do, and they've got their own. Yeah, so I like that, and we shouldn't be speciesist and judge them. It's just two direct parallel. Now, if it was his back horns, that'd have been funnier. Because it's like, oh wow, you have to, almost like a loofering, loofering down, like doing that to your back is like what? But because it was so literal. But yeah, I get both sides.
Sean says not a mod, but happy to do it fast. What? That's the name of our moderator that does it. You tell me there's another Sean O'Sullivan that's the same. Oh, never mind. I'm an idiot. Sean O'Neill. Sean O'Neill is our moderator. My apologies, Sean O'Sullivan. But yeah. Let's see here. I'm willing to admit I made a mistake. It's fine. Happens from time to time. It's very rare, so you should mark that on the calendar because it'll never happen again this year. Anyway, Eugene puts in 2,000. Fun episode. Too much innuendos and direct references to a thing that will make YouTube video demonetized, for my taste at least. Then again, I don't treat Lower Decks as full-blown canon show, but as meta and referential humor derivative one. Yeah, that the whole horn thing. I expect better from Lower Decks. That was just one step a little too far for me personally, and I'm not approved by any means. So. But anyway, SWTX Chaser throws in $2, so thank you so much. Jalad, Eye of the Tiger. Yeah, so Jet gets his scan done and gets punched in the face instantly by Kayshawn. But you're right, that is kind of a missed opportunity, to be fair.
Oh, they could have literally made a Rocky joke. Balboa, when his jaw broke, was there now? Depends if Paramount owns Rocky. That would be quite funny. And then we get a rather silly reference, but this I like because it's different. And we already saw them hang out with Da Vinci in season 1, and this is just Da Vinci's hang glider I've seen in Voyager, which I'm sure is based on a real Da Vinci thing. And so the fact that she sneaks into the holo program is already kind of dodgy, given they're already at a beach resort or whatever, and she Da Vinci things over is quite silly but fun and probably a bit creepy.
But this is a modern hang glider though, isn't it? It's different than the Da Vinci one.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, but the one they built in Voyager was modern because they used modern technology. That was part of the gimmick. Like, it works now because they're using modern small fibers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's weird.
But yeah, then so she does swipe on the pad. We got Ensign Sophia Baumler Brandon Logan, Meglamu, Steve
Mm-hmm.
Stevens. Oh, second swipe. Yeah, I mean, Maria Rose. I don't know. Some interesting names there. Some of them are probably references to something that we're not catching, but who cares? But
But
then the last one is just a serial number.
yes.
Yeah.
But back to Mugato, they're all tired out, and the fact they wait until night is quite impressive. And the fact that like dedicated night, and they seem very calm. So trained officers, not even a sex party is gonna shake them,
Well,
which is quite good in its own way.
I love how gross that they've tired themselves out. Even the Watcher. That was kind of funny.
Sorry, turd, but I mean there you go. Save it for next time. Thanks for trying.
Check your payment method. Maybe
Yeah.
there's something there.
And just comment your non-subject question. We'll read it out or comment.
Yeah, we'll definitely read. Yeah, well, paying attention to the chat. So if we see we'll read it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they're still talking about Mariner and how he's getting away with things because the mother-daughter thing. The mom being her captain, or the captain being her mom.
And then she pops out of a bush.
But after Rutherford notices a Mugato trap, I love how his cybernetic implant caught it. And then she gets caught in it.
I'm not sure how she knew they were there. I'm not sure why she's in the bush. It's very suspicious. But whatever. And I quite like the trap. It's very it gives me Ferengi vibes. They like their domes. It's actually quite apt. As simple as that is, I quite like it. And I like the fact that she hasn't got a way out. Mariner would, I mean, it's not in the plot, obviously, but normally Mariner would be the, easy, I'll just do this. But Mariner's, from this point onwards, Mariner is absolutely, powerless, and it's very good to see, because everyone's balanced in this. Same as Strax, but she's no stronger than the average person. It's a nice feeling, balanced.
I love how she finds out here that you read my service record.
Yeah.
And, the things they did to you in that lab. I was sucking at the venom. What lab? Hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they whipped the tricorders at her.
That made me laugh.
One funny. Lucky catch is why you checked my records. But she's like, you guys heard that I was a secret Black Ops agent, right? And she's not even hiding it.
Which is funny.
Guys, that was my rumor.
Yeah.
It's a great discussion. They talk about the Atlantic, or the Atlantis. She goes, no, everyone got Kerplickian fleas, or lice. Of course that's not in the official record. You know how embarrassing that is?
It's
to lose a starship to lice.
It's a very logical sentence, and I really appreciate also how she's genuinely touched by their care and annoyed by their care, but also she does say, well, okay, I didn't tell you, what'd she say about being, I don't stay long enough to make friends? What was that line? Because it's a really good line that she doesn't normally break down and say these things, and so it's 2 episodes is really, really nice to see.
Yeah, first they asked her about martial arts. She says, the only thing I can practice on my own.
Good line.
Because I never have friends. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to find that line. So the reason she wants to be a badass is to keep jerks away from her, but she can't believe that she couldn't believe that her best friends would believe that. And they're like, that's actually why we believed it, because that part made sense. Why a badass like you would hang out with geeks like us, essentially. Yeah, hold on.
It's actually a surprisingly characterful moment. I thought this was one of the best points of the episode for there's only a certain amount of tension really from the situation, but she brings a lot of weight to this. And she's a lot of growth between seasons 1 and 2, where she was sort of friends with them in season 1, and she was the badass that was overpowered. In this, she's much more toned down, much more genuine, and she's going to let stuff out. It's a well balanced little moment, and it's sad for her, which is good because all these things come from a place, and you understand her place.
Yeah. She says that she just likes having a mystique about her. Can't find that.
That's okay. Moving on.
Sorry. Anyway, the Ferengi show up, and she's like, "You guys have to be the badasses and use your superpowers to save the day."
Yeah. Yeah.
So, sorry, I scrolled back so far, and I'm just going the other way. All right, back on the ship. Tendy's trying to find out who this last person is. The serial number coming up is not found.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiana's like, that's okay. Don't worry about it. It's almost like I thought she knew who it was, but I didn't think it was her. Because she's like, it's a holdout left. I was really, really impressed with what you did so far, so it's fine.
Yeah, I kind of got the sense it might be her by this point, except she's playing it so straight. Oh no, good job, well done. Because she says in a minute, I didn't think you were going to do it. But her, well done, you did it, was so genuine. It was an odd double whammy of acting here.
Turd Ferguson, $2. YouTube blows. Yay, it worked.
What? Well, you paid YouTube to bitch at YouTube. Good job. That's how YouTube works. Literally. And a little note here, as I said in our previous videos, but she's got a tricorder holster. And in fact, they almost never use holsters because they just appear out of nowhere as a cartoon. But in this, it's there for one moment, which is when she like moves to draw out of the holster, which you couldn't do if it was just in her XYZ. So I quite like that. I thought it looked rather good on them. And makes a new cosplay thing you have to do for this uniform. A new holster is applicable. But no, she works out very quickly who it is, based on a barcode thing on the thing, which I guess is fine. Dum dum dum. Yeah. Evil reveal almost from the doctor. She's like, I don't need this. I'm the doctor. I can know if I'm ill. You'll never get me alive. And it becomes certainly the chase. I prefer this as the story for the chase than was in the trailer. I thought she was going to go feral and some weird plot. This is more grounded. It's silly, but lower deck silly. So I think I'm on board, although she would have been through hundreds of physicals, and where's she going? So you kind of get the sense she's just going crazy. But it's yeah, on that line.
Yeah, it seemed a little silly and just dumb for the sake of being. I don't know. This part I could do without, honestly. Even the whole chase. Like, get back here, you bad kitty. Like, or bad Dr. Tiana, bad.
Yes.
I don't know.
But then back to the mum subplot. We get a great MSD style side view. If you want to build the shuttle, there's a great ortho reference.
Mm-hmm. We're going to give you one of our shuttles. And Ransom's like, you sure that's a good idea? We're losing shuttles all the time. We'll just say it was a black hole or something. Oh, yeah, that does happen. And then he's like, well, I lost a lot of things on the ship. What was the name of his ship here? The Lady Jane. Rare antiques and things. And he's like, what? Oh, like an old model sailing ship, a Nautilus shell, bronze pineapple, little Gorndal. And Freeman's like, these things all hold special meaning to me. So you see where that's going. I want to hear the special meaning behind each one, though. Like, is the Gorndal something she grew up with? Was it one of Mariner's toys when she was a kid? Who knows? SWTX Chaser throws in $2. All the advanced tech and no laser pointers. Oh, for the cat? Yeah. That's funny.
I thought this was a little daft. Because he doesn't quite feel like a grifter yet. He just feels like an opportunist in this scene. He's been given a free card to say whatever he wants. But it's really lackluster of him to say the things on desk. And I can't... You know, the guilt of this and of the bad report to Starfleet wouldn't mean giving him all of her personal memorabilia. That's way too far. And as you said, she's replicated a new version of each, and he wouldn't know until he gets him scanned like 10 light years away. So I don't believe this, especially if he could have said anything he wanted and be like anything really new. It would have been fun if he'd said like 10 things, and there's 10 things from the show, like really specific things.
I want a tricorder with a purple stripe.
Although my brain straight goes to, remember in Voyager when Neelix buys this purple crystal thing and then shines it and realizes it's actually a beautiful, like, ornate thing, and gives it to the guy for like 3 times the money. I wish that had been one of the items. Like, I had this, or we have to have one in stock, you know. So a bit of a weird thing, but he was not clearly a grifter yet. So that twist still holds up here. He's just a guy taking advantage now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, down on the planet, everybody's in prison except for Rutherford and Boimler. And this is the scene we got in the trailer, the teaser, the whole special powers thing with our minds. Our skin? No, our brain. Oh, yeah, our brains are in our skin. Which is fine, I guess. You see them grab a bunch of stuff, tools and implements, and then we're back on the Cerritos again, unfortunately. I do like this, though. I treat over 100 different species on this ship, implying there are 100 species on the Cerritos. That's a lot, considering the crew's probably less than a Galaxy class, which has 1,000 crew members. So this one's probably like 500 or 600.
I would have said 350, and that's still quite a lot for
350 to 500 maybe, or something like that. Then,
yeah.
But the whole I think I'd know if I'm healthy. Then poor Tendi falls, breaks her arm, and I literally thought she was faking a broken arm because she know that Tiana's a good doctor. But the old fake injury thing, and then you see the arm. But she gets the scan.
Then passes out.
I do love Tiana. Like, oh God, what does she say? God, kid, I'm sorry. This is all my fault.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Stop being an idiot.
Yep. And it's like, oh, this is easy, no problem. Yeah, it's a surprisingly effective graphical end to the scene, but it actually works. But it's like, whoa, okay. Well, okay then.
And then she's even like, that was remarkably easy. I can't believe I made such a big deal out of it.
You dumb cat.
Yeah. This is one of the things that made me laugh too, actually, now that I'm going through this scene by scene.
Yeah.
Is Mariner. You know, you can just replicate everything you buy with Latinum. You can just replicate it, right? You guys are dumb.
But then, a very strong counter. If we are so dumb, how have we captured you? Which is a great counter. They did successfully capture the entire Starfleet team. 4 guys with whips. And not get killed by Mugato. So actually, legitimate point. Well made.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah. I mean, there is obviously, pure value real. And you can tell, like, I'm sure any scan could tell you replicated versus real. Like, is this antique furniture antique? No, it was replicated last week. Like, you can't replicate antiqueness. You can't replicate age into an item. It would still be created age, you know?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
So there's a real reason for real stuff, but if you just want things are makeable. It's if you want rare things, sellable things, valuable things. Well, those can't be. That's the whole point. But it's a great little counter argument. And then what does she say after that?
You guys are what? Some creepy throwback last outpost style Ferengi. Have you never heard of Quark? Of course I've heard of Quark.
Little bit too meta.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. At all.
What do you mean?
Well, why would you call them Last Outpost? That's not even an episode.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I thought you meant the Quark thing. I'm like, what?
Oh, the Quark thing is fantastic.
Yeah, okay, good.
But,
no, I agree.
Like, it doesn't make sense, but okay, lol's fine. So.
But they walk in with a cannon, with a Kirk cannon from Marina. Bamboo, charcoal, sulfur, diamonds. No, it's not that.
And I think there's a frame when you see... Okay, I thought it might have been a tricorder at the back. But no, they use the cannon as a projector. They stroll in quite confidently.
Yeah, for a cost-benefit analysis for greater long-term profits.
I mean, Ferengi aren't dumb. And if you say you can make money, that is their entire reason for being a lot of these people. So, you know what? It's actually a legitimately good payoff. And I appreciate the Ferengi, like, they're scared, even though they've captured, like, 9 Starfleet officers. But they're like, surprise attack. But no, money convinces them, business convinces them. It's like, oh, yeah, actually. Huh.
Yeah, they can diversify now. They can get into merchandising, snacks.
Well, they've clearly done most of the work, because they actually have all of these Mugato, which are clearly rare. So, good for them, you know?
I like the little Mugato plushie toy. It's kind of creepy.
If they're not on sale at StarTrek.com in the next 6 months.
I could get my mother-in-law to make one. But she is on vacation for 2 weeks in Nova Scotia, so anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, so they're going to set up a sanctuary for Mugato at this point. I love how Shax wakes up and what's going on? Those two beautiful nerdy men are negotiating us using the power of math, which I think is a bit of a reference to Discovery. That's the power of math, people.
Yeah, clearly a Discovery reference.
Yeah.
And you know what? It works better here. Because A, it's literally what it is.
Yeah.
But it's still a bit odd, but she's just happy to... Like, I like it. Marina's just happy to not have to do it herself and happy to win and proud of her friends. So it's got a more genuine feel. And it's just great. They convince Ferengi and they're the heroes this story needs. And it's a good payoff to a setup. Good job them.
And Dan Ben, yeah, we said that. It was the cannon that Kirk used in Arena. Turd says, Mythbusters proved that Kirk would have killed himself with that bamboo cannon. Yes, indeed. Anyway. So yeah, the Ferengi agree to do it. Just because Rutherford is like, well, technically, we should be apprehending you for attacking members of Starfleet. So we're both happy, which means we reached a compromise. Mm-hmm. And even Mariner joins in the shouting. So, anyway, back in sickbay, Shax is up there, and because Dr. Tiana just got her physical, she could heal him all night in his quarters. So they still have a thing together, which is great. I'm glad they remembered that, because I was into that in season 1. So that's great.
I think the looks on the face is like, oh god. But you know what? Yeah, it's all good. Came back to the dead. Use the time they have. It's all good.
Mm-hmm. But you get to an old lady. Something happens, and the other chick scoots on up, and Tendy's like, "No, I've got this. Give me 20 cc's of space right now." And yeah. Dr. Tiana says, that's great confidence, kid, but this isn't your patient, so get the hell out, get the fuck out away. Anyway. Mm-hmm. I like Dr. Tiana. I'm glad we're getting to see more of her, actually.
A lot more. So, a lot more, yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yes, good little scene, and then empty briefing room, talks to the husband again, which is great to have a bit more of him.
Yeah.
It's going so well. Wow, there's Ferengi, man. Great guys. Really turning the corner on this industry, man. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Yep. And he's like, is something... By the way, there's a scam in your sector, people are blowing up, self-destructing their ships and blaming it on Starfleet. Oh, we'll be on the lookout for that. Did you redecorate?
Although,
looks different.
Hell of a show doesn't pay that much attention because everything you own is off the walls. Bit of redecoration. But yeah, and then we have a great hard cut to the thing full, which implies, well, he got a lot more free stuff. Because that's more than she had in the ready room, so he's like a lot of free stuff there.
Mm-hmm. But very satisfying. They tractor him and basically get the shit back.
Yeah,
they make a deal with them.
Yes, prison or this. Or this, and this is hard cut to Mugato land.
Get all this dung out of here so we can build a gift shop.
It does surprise me that the Mugato are able to go from we've been enslaved for 5 years to now they're our friends. It's a bit random. Torturing last night, now friends. And I guess they replicated these blankets and these posters showing you can replicate stuff too. Just saying. But it's quite quick. It's a nice ending. It doesn't make the most sense, but you kind of hope they're going to go back here. Like 2 seasons in, they've got a new attraction, and you come down, and they've, and then the kid hugs the dad, and it's quite sweet, and it's nice. It's a good little ending actually, and the Ferengi feel genuine, which is important. This isn't a scam. This is just a money via hard work. It's still money. It's still hard work, but it's fine. Yeah.
Mark Lawrence throws in $5.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mark. Good to see you, Mr. President. Just saying hi. Got to support the channel. Thank you. We appreciate that. Yeah, but we're back up playing diploma math. Diplomacy. Diplomath. Thank you. Thank you. And I guess she's not good at it. But they apologize for thinking that she's a spy. And she apologizes for spreading the rumors. But she said, today you guys were the badasses. So, but yeah, she goes and gets drinks because she's actually kicking their asses, but they don't tell her that. So,
and that's great that she just has a good eye for this stuff, but she doesn't understand the game. So it's beginner's luck, but also whatever. But I don't think she knows. I think she's just like happy to play their thing. They kind of impressed her, so she's happy. She's like, well, this game can't be as silly anymore. So it is nice of having her still be OP, but in a more organic way, you know. So I actually quite like that. But also, they are both clearly inclined to play the game to a stalemate, and that's still fun. Where she's probably being more aggressive with this strategy, so that can work too. But yeah, then cuts the bartender, who doesn't treat her any different, given that he thinks she's a secret agent. I was waiting for some little payoff there. I mean, there's obviously a payoff to the whole episode, but I was expecting to see something payoffy. But what happens, Jim?
Well, basically, she tells the tale of those guys back there, the Mugato twins, who fought off a dozen Mugatos barehanded and ground up their horns, snorted them, and acquired strange powers. Of course, the secret's safe with the bartender. He won't tell anybody. Then he gets yelled at again because the guy needs limes for drinks. So, poor Horace.
Well, I mean, he does say if you want to be a bartender, like if you want to be a bartender, why the hell are you a bartender?
Yeah. For real, man, if you don't want to work at the bar, don't work at the bar.
It's a fair point. But he's clearly a gossip. So
it's the future. You can do what you want. So, yeah.
It's true. He's not getting paid. He's not asking for money. So this is he wants to be a bartender on a ship. He's a special sort of guy.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Shot of the Cerritos heading off into the sun.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 4, almost halfway. What do we all think then? Stuart, quick question though. Do you like any more or any less since our full review? When we've actually gone through it.
Maybe a slight bit more. There was some really good stuff from Mariner. Delivered line-wise, especially when she was in the trap, which I'd kind of forgotten about, honestly. So it's still not great, but it's maybe elevated by half a point or so.
Sure.
Just so. But yeah, anyway, goal-wise, before we get to our scores, if you guys want to super chat your score out of 10 for this season of Lower Decks, as well as all of Lower Decks in general, please super chat it. I will read those super chats when we're done giving our scores. Just want to put in the regular chat. Samuel will read those. But we have 101 viewers with 117 likes. I want to hit 125 likes. Should be super easy to do. Barely an inconvenience. And the chat for super chats, I mean, honestly, $40 would be great as kind of a minimum. But anything above and beyond that would be fantastic. This is still kind of light today, but hey, it is what it is. And not everybody can afford to super chat, and that's cool. But if you can, put in your super chat scores right now. That would be awesome. So I don't have anything else to add. Samuel, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, well, as my closing thoughts of the episode was, it's pretty okay. It's Becca. It's better second time when you don't have your expectations, because I thought more stuff was going to pay off. Not to say what does pay off is weak. And actually, the ending is actually one of the best parts in terms of it all comes together. But it's got too many stories that draw out the screen time too much. They honestly should have dropped the entire Tendi stuff. Didn't need it. Like, it would be good in another episode with more time, but not in this episode. The duo of Rutherford and Boy Doe doesn't quite work. They're too similar, energy-wise. But this is their first test as a duo. I'm sure they'll improve as time goes on. I'm still surprised Rutherford doesn't feel any different from, losing all his memory with these guys. They haven't played into that card really at all. So just like Strax, it's like it's a non-thing. Okay, That's a disappointment, I guess, although do we really want radical change? I don't know. Marina's stuff was good because she wasn't OP. She actually didn't help the scenario at all at the end. She was completely pointless in terms of plot solving, which is great. Not everyone can. Mum's stuff is good, although not great. No second in command whatsoever this week. But we got Strax, we got the Doctor, we got the Captain, we got... So it was a big ensemble, just not the second in command.
Ransom was in it. He was one that said, "Do you think Starfleet? I think that's a good idea with the shuttles."
Oh yes, and also
the
girlfriend joke. You're right. You had two. Yes, you're right. You had two brief moments. Sorry, I forgot those.
Yeah.
He was so like, he was a sideline. Literally gave sidelines. But it's fine. It's not. I don't know if it's the worst of the season because nothing was particularly wrong this episode. I don't even know what I'm gonna give it because at a certain point you then have to judge it against other episodes, but where you think those scores may be can vary. As I have in front of me, but we'll see. So fine, Stuart, let's give your score then. And everyone else, like you said, super chat scores for Stuart, non-super chat scores for me. I'd love to know your thoughts out of 10, as more of you are here. Everyone put your scores right now out of 10. Stuart, what are your 2 scores then?
Well, we need another 6 likes to get to 125 first. And don't forget the last super chat slot as well. Right now, Marco Van Asch has it. I'll read your super chat in a second, Marco. I just want to give my final thoughts on this. A few good references, a few laugh out loud moments, and overall, though, as a full cohesive episode, not super great. We did get to see other team ups, which we've been asking for, so that's good. But it just was kind of lackluster as far as an episode goes. Seeing more of the Mugato was great. The throwback Ferengi were also interesting, and how that played out. But overall, there's just not a lot here for me, honestly. It's not bad. Like, don't get me wrong. This is not a bad episode. I would not say that. Just for Lower Decks, it's not the best. And I think they pushed a little too far in one spot in particular. So, honestly, I think for season 2, I'm going to have to give it a 5 out of 10. For all of Lower Decks, I can't remember all the ones in season 1, but I'm going to have to go 4.5 out of 10. It just wasn't, didn't capture me like it should have.
Well, like I said before in another review, it just missed the goal line. Nothing quite came out properly. So for me, score-wise, I like it more than you, but not a ton. I thought you were going to give it lower, I'll be honest, from what you'd said earlier. But I'm glad we sort of shown those lots of little moments that bring it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But for me, I can't give it more than a 6. It's not bad. It's better than average, but, I mean, not much. So I think 6 is absolutely fair. And for all of Lower Decks, that's harder. As in, for this season, I mean 6. All Lower Decks, I mean, all of season 1's better. I think 5 is again the highest I can give. So it is currently okay. That makes sense. I won't go and give it away because it's fun at the end of the season. But yeah, not the best, but I like it a bit more than you, and that's kind of what we knew going in. So
yeah. But you did talk me up a little bit in my score, I think.
Yeah,
so.
Well, it literally is the small things that are good. There's little lines that kind of add something, the little references, a lot of little references that you might not have caught. But just the big score doesn't quite work.
Yeah. Well, so super chatted scores here. We got Marco Van Asch with €2. Thank you so much. This season, a 7 out of 10. All of Lower Decks, a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Mr. Matt Boardman throws in a $2 Tractor Factor snipe.
Oh, no. I don't know if the PC can hold on. No, Matt, turn it off! Turn it off!
Well, that's a low Tractor Factor snipe as far as the super chat goes. If you throw it up to maybe $10, then you might shake this apart. I don't know.
If he put 100, not that you obviously should, but I'm saying if he did put 100 in, I'd have to turn off the whole entire stream. It'd be that much. But obviously, don't do that. That's silly.
Preston M puts in $5. Just got home from work. Going to have to go back and watch from the beginning. Yes, please do, Preston. And when you get back here, welcome back, Preston. Good to see you again, sir. Thank you so much for the super chat.
What is your score? Let us know. Good to see you. Good to see you then. Good to see you now. Thank you much. $5 helps.
SWTX Chaser, $2. Medical Scan Snipe. Oof, nice.
Stealthy. Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't see it coming. Huh.
That's what she said. David Lewis puts in $10. Kayshawn to Shax, as Worf was to Tasha in TNG Season 1, question mark. Someone is now General Relief Bridge Officer is my thinking, though for both to have been Chief makes me question the thought, as it's now a bump down. Yeah, well, we got no clarification on that as far as what their roles are now, so maybe they'll reveal that at some point. But
I doubt Shax is chief tactical. We've never seen him on the bridge in that role, so I assume he's just one of the team now.
Maybe, yeah. Kyle Wong throws in $2 with a little smiley fox, so thank you so much.
Although the last point where
could be Kinzinti.
Yeah.
Or could be Dr. Tiana as well.
But that last frame of it looks like the Joker.
Yeah. The head tilt makes it a little bit psychotic.
Yep. All right, let's see what you guys thought. The unsubject scores. Let's see where you guys come. We obviously came quite low, but we have talked about it all day today. So we're a bit here. 6.5, 6, 6, 7, 6.7, 6, 6.5, 6, 6, 5. Oh, that was quick. 5. So basically my score. But I get your score. So basically an alignment. Trekyards audience and the Trekyards, Team Trekyards. I do think this one will be an easy one to improve. Like easy. Wouldn't take much. All the pieces are there, right?
Yeah.
Would be easy for sure.
Preston M does say his score is either 5 or 6. He agrees with that. And Marley says season 2 has been enjoyable but unfulfilling. Prefer season 1 so far. That's actually a good summation. I think, was it episode 1 or episode 2 that started with the holodeck thing? That's episode 1, wasn't it, of this season?
Which holodeck?
The Cardassian escape?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't even remember.
I think so.
Yes, no, yes, maybe. I don't know. No, the first one is Strange Energies. In case Sean his eyes open was episode 2.
Don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, who cares? Actually, I could find out real quick. Just hold on a second.
And I already moved those things to another drive. Yeah, it's weird. I just feel like they haven't...
Yeah, Strange Energies was the one that had the Cardassian thing at the beginning. So, yeah, it started off with a bang, and I think that was probably a good thing yet a bad thing, because after coming off of season 1 and then having that really cool intro for the first episode, you're like, yes! And then so far it's just been kind of a disappointment, not a disappointment, but a letdown kind of each week. I'm expecting something great for the end of the season.
It's all about the stories you choose to tell. And I said this to you earlier, that I think season 1, the difference was Mariner was more the focus. So she was always the A-plot, right? Which meant the A-plot got more time and development, which means it had to be a stronger, more developed story. Now, we literally had 4 plots. And subtext between them. And new characters. So much little things that no individual stories are given enough time. So the main story isn't cool as much. And Mugato's are relatively dull as a creature, they're just apes. So it's just not as interesting as an overall concept. And then you hope for the small things to be more interesting. The character moments, because if that's all you have. But the Tendi stuff is a complete waste.
Mm-hmm.
The boys stuff is fine, the Mariner stuff's good. So it's kind of it's just odd. They're not as interesting ideas overall. And if you don't buy into an idea, like I didn't buy into Ransom in the first episode, but I did buy into the Orion thing last week, so I liked that as a storyline. I thought that was good. Mm-hmm. And the week before,
Kayshawn.
Yeah, that was a good thing, but then it dwelled too much on a silly thing. So it was kind of yeah.
Episode 2 was Reference City. That's what it was. The reference episode
with a lot of non-focus on a somewhat uninteresting main story, and then it's odd. It's very odd. They're not bad. They're certainly a fine watch, but they definitely wouldn't be in my top list of Trekkers, especially because the last 3 of Lower Decks was super good of season 1, really strong in every regard. I think we gave one a 10.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I don't know. But at least it isn't a real lowering of quality. It's just not quite hitting the marks, which is easy to do. Play and TNG do the same thing, you know? So
yeah. Well, we have 123 likes. I want 2 more likes to get to 125. Honestly, another $5 would be great.
That sounds doable, Stuart.
And
you'd like to think.
Kyle Wong now has the last super chat slot. So if anyone wants to snipe in for the last super chat slot, feel free. We'd appreciate it. And you get some kind of dubious honor that says you can say that you were the last super chat in a Trekyards live stream. I mean, how many people in the universe can say that? There's probably 30 or 40 at this point, honestly. But hey, you know. But hit that like button if you haven't already. 2 more likes is all we need. I would really appreciate it. And the question is, am I doing a live tonight? I might do a live later in the evening. I don't know. But I do have some great content coming out on the channel and my personal channel as well. So if you're not subscribed to my personal channel, please do so. And I might be covering the Starfleet Survival Guide at some point. Maybe do a Mugato special. We'll see how it goes. So, and content all weekend, of course. And we got some really great live topics to talk about next week.
Until Wednesday,
September 8th, when we get all the new information, and then we're going to have a crap ton of stuff to probably do over the next week or two.
Hopefully, that mic will drop.
And drop hard.
Let's make it so, Stuart.
This is the way. Wait, no, engage.
I'm a wizard, Stuart. You're a wizard, Stuart.
I'm not, though. Oh. Squadra course.
They fly now?
They do, indeed. Throws in $1 for the last super chat slot, but gets sniped out by Preston M with another $1 snipe. Mark Davies, £2. Thanks for the stream, guys. Enjoyable as always. Well, thank you very much, Mark. We appreciate you guys being here. It means a lot. So, Defiant 15E, $5. I want a Mugato coat. Better be fake Mugato for
Yes. There we go. You saved it. Well done.
Yeah. SWTX Chaser, $1. Trying for that last super chat slot. Eric Sween, $2 snipe in there.
Goodness.
And Kyle Wong puts in a £5 super chat for the last super chat slot, potentially. Are you guys going to review the book of Boba Fett? I mean, is that the redneck version?
Yeah, all I get is Bubba from Forrest Gump. Boba Fett.
My name's Bubba.
There's so much shrimp in the book of Bubba. You got a.
Is that coming out in December? I think it is.
Oh, is it? Oh, I have no idea.
It's something we probably won't do live. We'll do it when we have time, and it'll probably be an overview of the series, I would imagine. I can't see us doing every episode.
Well, it depends how good it is. Depends if there's other Trek at the time.
Well, there will be, because this Lower Decks is going to go straight into Prodigy, probably. We're going to find out on Wednesday what's being released after Lower Decks, for sure. And I think we're going to have a constant stream, because we got Prodigy, we got Discovery Season 4, we got Picard Season 2, we got Strange New Worlds at some point. So if they stack it properly and do Prodigy next, Discovery Season 4, Picard Season 2, and then right into Strange New Worlds, we could be going solid for the next year or more. Can you imagine constant Trek all year? You like the idea, Samuel. Just don't even start.
If you get used to it after 15 weeks, I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of don't miss it after you haven't had it for several weeks.
Yeah. And then once the pay goes down because there's not enough views, then you notice it.
Yeah.
Like big time.
Yes. Then life becomes a little bit harder. But in answer to your question, maybe in like three and a go batches, because that'd be kind of fun, because you guys didn't turn up. That's fair. It's not Trek content.
I thought you were going to say maybe in like 3 years we'll do it.
For season 3, we'll do season 3 of Boba Fett. Boba. But I'm excited for it, but I've no idea what it is. So
yeah.
Should I be excited? I don't know. I'll watch it and would like to see more Luke in it. I mean, why wouldn't the Boba? Why wouldn't the Mounties? No, not the Mountie Guild. This isn't Canada. The Bounty Hunter Guild. There you go. Would deal with a Jedi, but I'm gonna watch it.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's half the battle.
The other half is knowing. SWTX Chaser throws in $2. Warp Me.
That sounds
dirty.
There you go. Yep. No, same page there. Dear me.
Preston M, $2. Trekyards. Absolutely. We're gonna be like so dehydrated.
Didn't even sound dirty. That was. You've whatever. But Squadron Course asks me though. Hey Samuel. So I'm going American. Do you have an ET on the next Trek Shorts update? Yes, I filmed the video, but then Lower Deck started, and then we're away at the weekend. So I'd like to get that out there next week. I filmed it. Just got to edit it and then put some graphics to it. That's all I'm waiting for. So it's primed. Just, you know, I lost all of like Thursday because a family friend came around. I didn't even know I was going to come around until that day or yesterday. I was like, oh, hello. Welcome to the house. Good to see you. Yes.
So Preston M right now has $2 super chat, last super chat place with Trekgasm as the comment. So that's a great way to end a live stream and get that last super chat slot with a Trekgasm. Because that's usually the end, because then you fall asleep.
Oh, right.
Yeah, maybe some cuddling, who knows. But
you can cuddle the Darmok plushie. You know, just cuddle that to sleep. Or or Horta. I know Hortas like to cuddle.
Yeah, they're kind of hot though.
That's why you've got to be a. No, that's the Tholian. What race needs a cold temperature for their rooms?
The Breen.
There you go. Yeah, you can only cuddle a Horta in a Breen quarters on a Breen ship.
Or Andorians, they like the cold too. But oh, Vanosh puts in a €1 super chat. Sorry.
No, don't they hate the cold because they wore a big jacket? I think it's the Endorians that like it, but the Endorians hate it because they live on the ice planet.
Didn't I say Andorians?
Yeah, but I mean the white ones. I think they like the cold, but the normal ones don't.
Yeah, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It's the albino ones.
Yeah. It's the
judging.
Replicators? No, the reptilians, they hate the cold. That was another thing. They're like the nude sunbed thing that we all had to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, on that note, you'll see us tomorrow. You might see Stuart tonight and enjoy our content and tune us back in for Monday. We've got Borg Queen to talk about. Oh my god!
Oh my god! Yeah, we got some interesting stuff to talk about.
The Tuckerberg!
Wow, on that note, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Coggins.
We'll see you whenever we see you. Tune in all this weekend.